Is a Rajasthan win led by none other than Joseph boss.
Buttler, yep.
One needed a one ball. Of course, they're already tied it. And guess what? He gets a single or a double, or is it gone for 4? Anyway, it just pierced the infield, which means that they were to win it.
I hope Avesh didn't throw the helmet down.
I do not.
He wasn't wearing a helmet, though. That's one thing I noticed.
I just want to listen to Shane Dias and Saransh.
Why am I being put on the spot here?
No, I'm not putting in your spot. Why are you so defensive? I want to listen to you. So you're here to talk, right?
Yeah, we are here to talk, but
So
let
I
me
want
not
to
go first. Give me 10 minutes to cool off.
No, you have to
No,
go
10
first.
minutes to cool off.
No, you have to go
No,
first.
10 minutes to cool off. I need 10 minutes to cool off.
Okay, then we're all going quiet.
For 10 minutes. That's not fair.
So then we want to listen. It's your team who's playing. Who better to sum up
But
what's
my
happening?
team haven't won. No.
Doesn't matter. It's part of the game. You're supposed to say.
No, this is a one match you've lost. Simple
Yeah,
as
that's
that.
it. That's your reaction, whatever it is. A player who plays, like for example, now the captain would be walking off and he's going to be asked, the KKR captain, right? Shreyas Iyer.
Oh, that's
And people will go for a reaction. He can't say that, I can't talk. It's fine. Okay, Saran, maybe you can do better.
Yeah, maybe we can start with Saransh.
Disappointment, first of all, to say the least. Or also because it was 96 record of 38, almost 106. I thought game was in our control very much. So much so, we, as you said in the mid innings, that 15 to 20 runs short. At that time, now we can see what that was. Also, that 16th, 17th, and 18th over, you almost got
There are
hit
two ways
for.
of looking at it. One, you are right that they were 15 runs short because they did not capitalize towards the death which they could have. But I want to know from you, even if there will be stages in the game where you cannot be at your optimum. For example, Rajasthan also had a stage where they were not at optimum. But I'm saying if you've put 223, whichever way it's come, whether you were aggressive at the start, in the middle, at the end, you would expect your team, your bowlers
This
to
should
defend
have
it, right?
100%. This total 22 to 3 should have been defended, and it was almost defended. But then, as I said, 16, 17, 18th over, you got hit for too many runs back then. Chakravarti's over got 18 of that over, 4 fours and everything. Although on the hindsight, those fours came off the edges, flying edges, but fours are fours, boundaries are boundaries, and 8 down. You also got wickets. They were 8 down and everything, but things didn't click. And I think this game should have been won. But
Shivam usually has a producer, always has some input or the other. He had predicted a win for Kolkata because he has a direct line with he had predicted a win for KKR, not Rajasthan.
He had predicted RR.
He said he had a direct line. Today Shah Rukh Khan is in the stadium and he said that he has got a direct line with the management who he has, I don't know if you heard it, but I did. He said
So that theory is this way, whenever Shah Rukh Khan comes, they don't lose.
It's not about Shah Rukh. There are certain details he shared which I cannot share on air. But he had spoken to, he said, I have a direct line with the, who's who in the match today. And he had confirmed that today it is Kolkata winning. Doesn't matter whether they got 200, whether they got 180, 190, 195, whatever it is. He had done and he had a very detailed, nuanced theory also how it will happen. But now he is saying that anyway, what that teaches you that cricket is a funny game.
Yes.
And you have direct line with the bosses, but you must understand that the bosses know that you work in the media, so they feed you with they fool you, they feed you with the wrong things. So
also, the bosses sit in the corporate boxes. They don't play on the field. Even the bosses don't know what will be the result. But they cannot.
There was a boss in the field today.
Oh,
Just the boss.
But the bosses don't know how the field, the players are playing there. Bosses are only sitting up. I don't think they even know the result. And this was a thriller. This game should have been won.
Siddharth, best game the tournament so far?
No, I don't think so. I think if you have to look at it, yes, for the unpredictability factor, I would keep it right up there. But then I would have felt that the SRH KKR game was the first real thriller that we had. that came really close. It took something spectacular. The 6 hitting at that time was next level. Here, this was clinical hitting. Two contrasting death overs for two teams. KKR, when they were batting, we all felt that they should have hit 50-60 runs. They instead scored only 40 runs in the death overs. Here, 98 needed of the last 6. Already, you are hamstrung by Sunil Narine. I thought if Narine, that was a surprise for me, that he gave 16 runs. Honestly, he doesn't give that much in any kind of a spell.
Two reasons. One, he doesn't bowl in the death.
You finally have gathered your thoughts.
Yes, finally.
Thank you so much for being, helping us out with it. Go ahead.
He's not a death bowler, simple as, never has been. I understand the reason why they went with it, because there wasn't much dew. So the dew factor hadn't kicked in, which meant that the pitch did not ease out probably as much as they were expecting it.
I would kind of disagree with that, not a death over thing. You remember, even when he had remodeled his action, Sunil Narine once managed to defend 10 runs in an over, that in the PBK's game. He's the only guy in the history of this format to bowl a maiden super over. So, I get it, but that was the thing which was very surprising. Narine conceding 16 runs.
He was also cramping. I don't think that helped his batters. He had gone off in his third over, I think 4 balls in. He was running up to bowl the 5th ball and he stopped. He stopped, went down, the physios came out, gave him a little bit of...
After getting Rahman Paul's wicket.
No, Rahman Paul hadn't gotten out by that point. Okay. This was, I think, after he had gotten, Hetmeyer and Varun had gotten Hetmeyer, and I'm forgetting who it was, Ashwin. So they had gotten him and he was tightening the screws, and then that part really, next 2 balls he bowled out fine. Then went off the field for treatment. I kept thinking, I'm like, even if he bowls, he's going to be half fit. I just hope he can take something out, because I don't trust. I did think that this pitch did have runs for the Pacers, especially in the second innings, and that's how it proved. Unfortunately, that's 116th over, but then again, it's not just him. There were others who could have and should have bowled better. I also didn't agree with the decision, let's say, to go with Varun in the 20th. I don't know why they did it. Again, his third over, I know he was a little unlucky because of the 4 fours that he conceded.
3 edges.
Not 3, 2. 2 were edges. 2 were clear-cut edges. But by that point, he'd already given 4 fours. I would have gone with, if you always, conventions is go with a pacer. I know your 2 pacers that were left, Weber and Russell, were expensive.
That over from Starc, which conceded a total of 6 wides. 1 wide and the other 5 wides. Phil Salt couldn't collect it.
And it was a clean connection. It wasn't a tough one.
Look at
surprising how the ball, in fact, raised the boundary after him getting so much. You almost got his entire body behind the ball.
I mean,
even then it raised away to the boundary.
It's a 55-meter boundary at third man, and the Eden outfield is like a billiard
But quick question to Shane, because he points out about Varun Chakravarti being given the last over. Was the match still alive? Let's say. Had it, let's say, because all the momentum was with RR, and then you didn't have much runs to defend towards the end. Maybe not going. If you ask me, I think the momentum was such. The shoulders had dropped. Josh Buttler had finally hit his 7th gear, something that he'd struggled to do. Let's say for good 55% of the runs that he scored today. But then, was the match really alive, or was this a lost cause perhaps?
It was a lost cause, of course. But you can win even a lost cause if you just got Butler's wicket. At that point, you needed 1 wicket. My point was, you get a pacer in. If he can get a couple of cutters to maybe get one to misdirect, you're getting that catch. It's a whole different story. In the end, I know it went down to the last ball, but it was a really foregone conclusion. He hit 1-6 and then ran a 2 and a 1. It was academic. It was elementary. It wasn't a last ball thriller. It's not like he bowled 3 great balls that, missed the edge or something. He hit it to the fielder and chose not to run because he knew the match was in control.
Which is why I didn't rate this, because you're already 1 of 1. In that KKR SRH game, if Suyash Sharma had not taken that catch, who knows, KKR would have lost that game, and you still needed 5 of 2 at that time.
Now looking at from the, after losing the match, you can obviously, you can say if those 5 runs would have been saved, Phil Salt would have collected it cleanly, then 6 would have been required on the final ball. Also, to answer Harshit's question too, I think going with Chakravarti makes sense because it was 9 required and it was the matter of just 1 ball. Buttler was not changing strike. Buttler was on the strike. It was sure he will face all the 6 balls, 4 balls, whatever required, 9 required. It was a matter of just 1 ball. If he might have, edged it or tried to hit for a 6 and caught in the deep or whatever. But I think going with a pacer, it was more likely that you will lose. according to me. But with a spinner, you might have a chance. A spinner like a Chakravarti or.
I want a question, maybe Siddharth can answer it. Decision of Rajasthan to have sent Ashwin higher than a Rovman Powell, then a Hetmeyer at that time. Because, I mean, whichever way you look at it, it did reach a situation where you kind of thought that it was out of Rajasthan's. I mean, you needed a Herculean effort, and which is what, of course, Josh Buttler pulled off. But you did reach a tricky situation. Could they have done something else? Let's say they were to lose by 5 runs, 6 runs, 10 runs. Would this have been the reason?
Of course it would have been. I don't understand why the Rajasthan Royals management is hell-bent on committing harakiri each and every time. It doesn't make sense for a Ravichandran Ashwin, especially when you're chasing a 200 plus total, when you've got finishers like a Hetmeyer and a Rovman Powell waiting in the ranks. It's not as if you're chasing a 130 and you're say 80 for 6. Okay, that time you needed an Ashwin like kind of a knock and 72 strike rate in a chase of 224. Why do the Rajasthan Royals want to commit harakiri in a middle order that is somehow been propped up by certain individual players like a Riyan Parag? Okay, luckily he's in form. Today, we were all wondering, right, after you get Shimron Hetmeyer's wicket, it is KKR's game because Rovman Powell is a very weak player against spin. Delhi Capitals will attest to that.
More than that, I mean, so you got a feel for a Rovman Powell. You sent him at the situation where he could not even take a single or a double.
Yes.
He was in a situation where every ball that he faced, he had to hit a boundary. Now, that is not an ideal situation, no matter how big a hitter, even if it is, let's say, replace Rovman with a Rinku, replace, Rovman with a Russell, whoever, I mean, one of those finishers. Even with a Russell, even with a Rinku, I don't want to send them at the stage where I need 50 of them. Okay, if it's 6, 7, 10, 12, I still send them in a situation where 12, they have to get me via boundaries, 2 6s. Okay, fine, understood. But I can't always expect them to get me 40 runs, 50 runs, every ball being hit for a boundary where they don't have a breathing space. But that's where you put Rovman in. The different way could have been, if you were to send a Hetmeyer or a Rovman, they could have balanced it out. A boundary, a couple of balls with a single or a double, a boundary, and so they ease themselves to take you to a match winning thing. Let the water go above your nose level, and in that time you're sending Rovman Powell where he has no other option. So you escaped today thanks to an outstanding knock by Josh Buttler. But if you were in a situation like this at another time, why would you want to ensure that you are hanging back?
Today they went by the gamble of all or nothing. Just this time the all worked for them, because see, had you gotten an Ashwin ahead of before Trent Bolt, then it would have at least given you a little bit of security. Here you're with Avesh. Now you couldn't rotate strike. You had to ensure that, okay, it was by fine margins. And this time it was by fine margins. But going ahead, if you continue with this, you are committing harakiri.
It's now 2 games on the trot. And I know this will sound like sour grapes, by the way. So I'll say this first off. RR fans, you deserve the win. On the day, you were great. That's 2 games on the trot now I've seen where they've won in spite of themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because in the last game, it was Punjab Kings. There was no need to promote Tanush Kotian to open. I know you had less runs to get, but Punjab somehow managed to make a game out of that as well. Why? Because your opener ended up getting you runs at a strike rate of incidentally around 70 odd. Same thing Ashwin did today. I was baffled. I mean, why would you send Ashwin in? Are you? And also, what it does is it giving any confidence to your batters? Look, it was a game of cat and mouse in the middle and late middle overs. Why? Because RR were holding back Hetmeyer and Powell. Because Hetmeyer in the beginning of his innings can be a little susceptible to spin. Once he's set, not a problem. With Rovman, he gives the impression of being a cat on a tin roof when it comes to spinners all over the place. So they were holding back Rovman and Hetmeyer. KKR were holding back the 2 spinners. Remember, you didn't really have many spinners bowl in the middle overs. I was wondering, why is Harshit bowling again another over, unlike 2-3 overs of his you normally save? He came on to bowl a 3rd over. Mitchell Starc bowled a 3rd over. Vaibhav also had bowled a 3rd over. And I'm like, why? Normally now you bring on the spinners. Then I realized, I'm like, oh, they're holding the spinners for these 2. So it's a defensive move to send an Ashwin when you know how destructive these guys can be. Yeah. And again, today, if it were not for Josh Buttler playing absolutely out of his skin. Out of his skin.
And the bonus cameo by Rovman. Remember, he was the one who took after Sunil Narayan.
Correct.
That changed the game. And again, GT PBKS and the game that we saw against KKR, RR are hell bent on committing harakiri. Kuldeep Sen.
That their Trent Bolt was not.
Yeah.
It was held back, not bowling the last over. 2 decisions while they were batting. They have won twice, but lost that game. The only loss that they've
Against GT.
suffered so far in the tournament.
And also one more, if you look at it, a major mistake. KKR should never have made 223. Because whenever they make 223, RR chases it down. PBKS, that Tewatia 30 runs, they chased 223. Here they made 223, they chased it down. This is now RR's top 2 run chases. Both with the score of 223.
Buttler, 7 out of 7 centuries came in the winning cause, by the way.
I just want to use this opportunity to illustrate a point about 2 of our biggest superstars in Indian cricket. I don't know if you remember that day we had a debate on the day that Rohit Sharma did not win. And I think on that day I used the example of a Joss Buttler. Because when there were people who were defending Rohit Sharma and going after Virat Kohli or whatever, the only thing I'd said was that if you have big superstar players, and I don't care if they are from India, England, West Indies, Australia, wherever you have, big players, big stars, when they play 20 overs or majority of the 20 overs, if they batted in inning, it's their responsibility to finish games. And I go back to that Mumbai Indians game where everyone panned Virat Kohli that day for not doing well because he batted first. But everyone defended Rohit Sharma.
RR game, you mean?
No.
Virat
Mumbai
for RR.
Indians.
No, Mumbai, 3 of 9.
Mumbai Indians as well as
The RR.
everyone panned Virat Kohli for slowing down the run rate, but everyone defending Rohit Sharma. It was exactly the same thing. The thing is that they are both superstars, and why there is criticism towards them? Because so much is expected. If they were a Riyan Parag or they were a Dhruv Jurel or whatever, I don't think anyone would have ever criticized. If they got 100, we would have all celebrated saying what a fantastic knock, brilliant. But because they are Rohit Sharma, because they are Virat Kohli, because they are match winners, and because when they play for India, we know that, see, everyone has a bad day. The day they fail, it's fine. Everyone is allowed to fail. But the day they strike form, they're going to win games for their teams. Unfortunately, it did not happen in both those cases, and that's the day we gave an example. The why you're not happy with the Rohit Sharma century that day is because if there was a Joss Buttler who batted full 20 overs, he'll ensure that he wins the game. If there was going to be a Maxwell, he's not in form, that's all right. But if he batted majority of the overs and remained till the end, 9 times out of 10, he is winning the game for his team.
Yeah.
Similarly, you expect that of a Rohit Sharma or a Virat Kohli. I will never look at the strike rate. That's why the strike rate comparison of 56, 66 didn't make sense, because both playing against different bowling attacks in different conditions in different places. So you can only gauge based on that, right? Today, if a Joss Buttler got out, 4 overs before the game and still had a 178 strike rate, we couldn't have defended Joss Buttler by saying that, listen, Virat had 50 strike rate, Rohit had 60, Buttler has 70. But boss, you batted 20 overs, you have to finish it. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Maybe a 50 strike rate for Virat on that ground against RR was par. Maybe 60 strike rate for Mumbai Indians for Rohit Sharma on that ground against that bowling attack was par. Maybe today at Eden Gardens against this bowling attack, 170 was par. But they needed to finish game, and that's what you expect. And that's why I say when you go to the T20 World Cup, yes, Joss Buttler can be out of form. He's been 8, 1, 4, 5, 100, 4, 1, 2, 100, whatever he is. That's also okay. You cannot have runs every game. But the day he strikes big, he needs to win the game, and that's what we expect of our superstars.
The one point though that I want to make about Rajasthan Royals, yes, they've pulled off a brilliant victory today. One, that you didn't see for 90% of the game that would be theirs. But I think more than celebration, I think that whole think tank, the players, everyone, I think it's time for more reflection than celebration right now, because for 2 games on the trot, I think they've been let off the hook by the opposition team. Up against them the other night were the Punjab Kings, today KKR. You needed a 27 run knock which came in just 10 balls. It was Shimron Hetmeyer who saved you, despite you making a blunder at the top by promoting a Tanush Kotian, when a Sanju Samson jolly well could have and should have gone ahead, and that is what cricketing logic told you should have been something that Rajasthan should have done. Today though, see, they find themselves, they went into the match, going as the table toppers. Yes, they've consolidated their position even more today. But if they are to go ahead and be that champion team all over again, this is something that needs to stop right now. Today, Ravichandran Ashwin had no business being ahead of a Rovman Pal or a Shimron Hetmeyer. If in a chase of excess of 200, you don't have these two guys coming up, I don't know when they will then.
See, we are taking the red ball analogy very seriously with Ravichandran Ashwin and applying it in the wrong format. Ashwin, when you look at effectivity in white ball, especially in T20s, he's not been effective. He hasn't been. The last time economically also he was effective was with the Delhi Capitals in that 2020 season. Okay, he and Akshar Patel formed a very potent combination in the middle overs. That's why Delhi Capitals were choking the opposition.
Ironically, also a test analogy considering Akshar and Ashwin.
Okay, as a test batter, Ashwin is good. But when was the last time he contributed in a white ball chase or in a white ball innings? You have to really rewind your memory back.
This season, just that Delhi game again. Just the Delhi because targeted Nokia, you remember?
He targeted Nokia.
Yeah.
Okay, but the problem is that's a one-off. You're not living on that one-off. And remember, Rajasthan Royals have gotten off the hook twice, like you said. A better bowling attack in any other better condition will expose them on a brutal day. For example, eliminator, suppose if they slip to third.
Totally agree. I think, on a given day, this might come back to haunt them.
Yes.
This might backfire on them, and they wouldn't save themselves because
You've got a Buttler.
There's one thing called thinking out of the box, but this isn't that.
You don't have a box.
This is shooting yourself in
there
the
is a
foot.
fine line between bravery
this
and
isn't that.
stupidity.
This is foolhardy.
Ashwin,
Not in a chase of excess of
Ashwin
200 can Ashwin
effectivity
go
for
ahead
the
of these two.
left-handers in this particular format has been displayed. He can't be that in Test cricket like what he is here. Okay, Test cricket is a beast, but here no way. Batting, no way. That's chalk and cheese. So all the people who are fans of Ashwin in that sense, he can have that same impact like in red ball cricket. Forget it. For 5 to 6 years, he's not had that kind of an impact in IPL.
And see, I'm fine having Ashwin as a batter if he's your designated number 8. In that case, or if you want to use him as a floater in certain circumstances. Say you're chasing with a run rate of say 7-8 and you've lost a couple of quick wickets. You need someone to hang around there and then accelerate later. He does the job perfectly. Today when he came in, they were 106 for 4.
Yep.
And you had lost key wickets by that point. You had lost Jaiswal, you'd lost Sanju, you'd lost Ryan Parag, who was looking good, and Dhruv Jurel to a very smart review. So at that point, you're thinking, boss, panic stations, and you can't let the run rate get this much. I mean, sure, they let it get this much and still won anyway, full credit. But conventional cricketing logic says you cannot let a team choke you down and tie you down the way they did in the middle overs.
And from 8.4 to 12.1, it is 3.4 overs, right? Just 21 runs. So that is why they got the run rate. It needed something spectacular from Buttler, number one. Powell's 16 runs of Narayan, that was the game changer.
Yeah. Also, there was a moment after Ashwin got dismissed, and see, this is why I'm saying the margins are so fine. Where Ashwin got dismissed, he got dismissed in, if I'm not wrong, in the 13th over. But when he was batting out there, from overs 11 to 14, 14.12 types, 14.12, you can have a boundary.
Yes.
It was dry. The boundaries were dried up, and at that point, you're thinking the run rate is constantly climbing. So it's I don't know, I'm again taking nothing away from RR. They're table toppers right now, consolidated with a 4-point lead.
Yes.
Because they're 12 points now with the other teams all at 8.
So that is why, and Ashwin's okay if you're chasing a 130, 140. Only then.
The only thing is that now they have won, so no questions will be raised.
Yeah.
If they would have lost, then we would have been discussing it right now, tomorrow or maybe a day after. Now the management is happy, team is happy because everything is hidden under the carpet after you win the match.
Yeah. We are saying it is almost a harakiri. If they had lost this, you said it was harakiri.
Yeah.
That was the only.
And also in the mid innings we were talking about Maxwell saying no, I will not play. I'm not in the. That's I said that at that time as well and now as well. That's the difference from an international cricketer and Indian cricketer. You are giving 450 runs in 4 overs. You are not batting up to your potential. You could have given a youngster a chance. You could have said, no, I will not play a few games.
But that's not a fair comparison.
Yeah. It doesn't fit over here.
Why should Ashwin be? I think he's contributing. I think he's going to be there. Yeah, you sent him with the wrong batting position and other thing. But I don't think it's series.
It wouldn't have been his unilateral decision. He would have been asked to.
Plus, he's not reached a stage where he needs to sit out. In Maxwell's
Yeah.
case, you had to drop him. You had to. That's another thing that he's decided to sit out. But I don't think Ashwin has reached that stage. It's just that you sent him at the wrong place. I think if you had sent Ashwin after Hetman, Robin Powell, it would have been fine if he gives those.
No, I'm not saying about today's game only. I'm just saying if
Yeah.
he's not performing that well in the tournament. He's a
but
senior
I don't
player.
think he's reached that stage where you can look at dropping him. Today, everyone got hammered. Yeah? He did the same as a UZ Chahal or whatever else. I
In fact, he gave away less runs than usage.
So you've just got him as a utility player. I think they have a role for him and he's doing that. I don't think he's reached the stage where Maxwell had. Maxwell has been disastrous. You needed to replace him. So you reached that
6
stage.
matches,
That's
32.
another thing that Maxwell decided to step out. I don't think Ashwin is that stage. Anyway, I don't want to spend time on just Ashwin. They've lost. Let's take a look at KKR as well. Mitchell Starc, just one game, has a decent outing last time around, but
He had
since
two
then-
good outings, DC and then the last game, and then now today it's back.
but
down,
I'm saying
right?
if he's again, as I said, if we have that logic for batters, big name batters really need to step up
Correct.
on a given day. I won't blame a Weber Baroda. He's not an international level star.
Nor will I
commanding
blame a
that
Harshit.
kind of a prize. Neither a Harshit Rana. Your spinners did a decent job given how many runs went today. I would expect a Starc to step up on situations like that. Like, I'll compare him to a Trent Bolt. I think Trent Bolt on given occasions does a much better job than a Starc. And even though he doesn't go for that kind of money that a Starc does, but is far more effective. He will also go for runs, but more often than not, control innings. Today when nobody could get under rain, he said, okay, I'll step up, I'll be the one who do that. He does it more often than not. Starc, and I think just as we'd asked questions of Glenn Maxwell, even Starcs, I mean, this kind of consistency.
Also, he's not
Third 50 that
Yeah.
is conceded.
He's not pulling his weight right now, because see, let's compare his numbers with that of Harshit Rana's. Both bowling 4 overs each. Look at the number of wides though, significantly more, 9 wides, at 9 times more than what Harshit Rana bowled. Also, he's the experienced guy. When he's bowling the 18th over, that's when he gave away all those wides. He cannot be panicking the way, let's say, you saw Khalil Ahmed do the other day, or some of the other bowlers. No, these are not players who are regular international players. And I'm not bringing the price point over here. Forget the price, let's say, or the paycheck that he draws from the KKR for this particular season, Mitchell Starc. But for the reputation that he comes in with, and this is probably a message to all the owners as well. That look at this is a day where there were runs on offer, and there are 2 other Indian bowlers, one on each side, who've actually done better than some of the other international stars. 9 wides is just criminal. In a match that went down to the last ball, could have been the difference.
A couple of games back, when we were discussing the same thing. Because KKR were winning, there was no questions on Mitchell Starc's economy,
And-
not picking wickets. Now that they've lost, now
It
the
will
questions
drop
are
off
here.
again.
Yeah.
And can I remind you guys, because again we were here when we were discussing after the Delhi game. I think he picked up a couple of wickets that day. I said that let's not read too much into this particular innings or this particular bowling effort of Mitch Starc, because firstly we know that he is no great shakes with the ball in T20 cricket. He's good, but he's not great. And also that was a match that was already out of hand for the Delhi Capitals. So everyone would go with the one intent of just heaving every ball, going for the hoik. That just enables you to get a wicket or two anyway. It's these conditions, it's these matches, and again he doesn't get a single wicket on such a day like this.
I think what made a lot of fans optimistic is how well he did against LSG. That was a good knock. I agree. DC, I can count off, because also DC are probably one of those teams that are a little bit not quite challenging for the playoffs at this point in time. So you'd expect, that was, as you said, also because the amount of runs they had to defend was a confidence get-back match. Varun did well there, he did well there. So what I was really optimistic was, from a sign point of view, was the performance against LSG. 3 wickets, 28 runs, perfectly good. I'm not saying he needs to be doing that every match. I'm just saying if you know you've got 224 runs to defend, pull a few back. That's all you need to do. I know these are conditions where every bowler has gotten slaughtered. Really, aside from a Narayan, no one's figures look good. Chakravarti to an extent, but even that is relative, considering this is a ground where pretty much every other bowler was going at an economy of over 10, bare minimum. But pull it back just a little bit. It does give you a lot, and it's pretty telling that I think most KKR fans feel a little bit more secure when you're watching a Weber Vadora and Harshit Rana with the ball, as opposed to when you're watching Starc. And again, these are guys who were brought at base price of 20 crore. Indian
20
dollars.
lakhs.
No. Oh, no. 20 crores, sorry. 20 crores. 20 lakhs.
20
sorry.
lakhs.
20 lakhs, sorry. Base price players, and they're doing far better for you.
Right now, I think all of us, let's say it's neutrals as well, I think you're expecting a Harshit Rana to nail his cutters far more than the mid-Starc Yorker, which you two were waiting for that entire over, which never came.
And also, it continues the trend. You have the big bucks. So far, in this IPL, barring up Cummins, no one has performed. Even a Starc hasn't performed, a Green hasn't performed. In fact, Green, I think, would be the costliest individual to be subbed, to be benched. 17.5 crores.
Starc might be following soon.
That's where the price tag comes in. Harshit saying, I'm not talking about the price, but now, as a KKR fan or a KKR management, what would I do? Should I bench a 25 crore player? We will be defending our decision to pick him in the auction and give him a few more games, but he's not performing. Now if you are winning, it was not being highlighted that Starc is not performing.
Yeah.
He picked a total of I think 5 wickets
Only 5
as of
wickets.
now in 6 games.
And 350.
But I want if I have picked a bowler like Starc, B on a huge price tag, then I want him to fire in the opening over. I would want Starc's impact in the game, but it's nowhere to be seen. And I think it's the third time that he's crossed 50 run.
And see, that's the thing. We talked about it not being highlighted until they lose. Well, they've lost their second game they've lost today. And I think at this point, considering what point of the tournament you're in, you're reaching the business end. 6 matches in, I think 2 games. 2 games is the buffer you get. Because there is a Dushmantha Chameera waiting on the bench.
Yeah.
If not a Dushmantha Chameera, if you want to change around your this thing a bit, you do have other Indian paces there as well. There's a Shakib Hussain, there's a Chetan Sakaria if you really want to ensure that you have one left-hander. Bring in the Indian pacer and then, compensate by bringing in another batter. You do have batters, there's people you can bring in. You need to do something because again, then this is a case where everything else is fixed. Everyone else is kind of doing their role. And you've just got this one glaring, obvious piece of the puzzle that needs to be fitted in, which means you need to make a couple of sacrifices, try and get that instant thing. Ideally, I say, as I said, 2 games. Don't drop him now, 2 games, but after that, then serious questions will be.
Because you have played half.
Yeah, just to add to that, it's not panic button. It's not the time to hit panic buttons. But this format is such. This league is such. In no time you can be in the bottom half. Now you're second, you can be in the bottom half by some consecutive losses. So you need to figure out what to do with the Starc, and Starc also need to step up and perform for the team before it's too late.
Exactly.
Okay, moving on from Mitchell Starc to the next subject. We only have 20 minutes left. At 12:30, I'm going to run away from here. You guys can continue. In hindsight now, because Kolkata, in Saranch's own words, eventually 20-25 runs short. In hindsight, did you utilize Rinku Singh enough? 9 balls for 22 runs, could have batted more. I am thinking, I know you got an Angrich Raghuvanshi who's got you 30 of 18, which is great. A Shreyas Iyer not firing, but he is of course his captain. But when I've got a start like I've got today with Naren firing like that, I want to bring in Russell and Rinku as fast as possible. Under normal circumstances, it's another matter. But you're 130, whatever, 106 for 2. I probably send in a Shreyas because he's captain. He's not firing instead of Raghuvanshi. And if Shreyas gets out at 133 for 3, at that time I am sending Rinku or a Russell and so on and so forth.
Just to answer it's only our second loss, and Raghuvanshi has been performing us for previous
No,
games.
I agree
He has been.
I agree with his point, but I'm saying optimum performance. See,
now
optimum performance. You need optimum performance from everyone. Where did you slow down today in that period where Shreyas Iyer, Raghuvanshi, compared to what maybe a Rinku or a Russell can give you? Russell today is 130 strike rate, but I'm saying there is I think as a team, there's a better chance of a Russell and Rinku giving me more runs, provided they play more balls. This is what I talk about CSK. That's another matter that Dhoni is not fit or whatever, he's not coming out to play. But why wouldn't I utilize his form? That's right. I think they did the right thing by pushing Venkatesh Iyer below today. because of where the innings
But
was
even
going.
then, I felt that of whatever you've seen from Ramandeep Singh, he should have come out to bat before Venkatesh Iyer. I may not, I did not have a lot of problem because I think with Ankush Raghuvanshi, you've seen a lot of promise, and the guy does give you in excess of 150 strike rate on most days.
So how many balls has Rinku batted in this
But-
IPL so far? Please take out those
but-
number of balls. You have.
I
that's
would,
what said.
I would rather not have Shreyas bat where he batted today.
That's enough. Whatever way you
And
do it.
this is maybe
Whatever
happening
way.
for the second
No, but
time.
How do you do that? He's the captain. No,
But I'll
he's the
put-
captain. How you
But
not?
again, so you put the team for.
Exactly my point. You have a bazooka gun waiting, but you're not utilizing. You're using not 2.0, those old rifles, and going to. You have him. And while Raghuvanshi has done well, or Shreyas will, you have these guys, you want to give them as many deliveries. So why I'm saying that you also know today, okay, more often than not 200 plus, you're happy, whatever. But you've just seen in the last couple of weeks, 2 games where 270, 280 were under risk of being chased down. So you know this season has become a season where everything, no matter how much you go, is at a risk of being chased down. So why won't you use optimum resources?
But again, the only person that I could see over there who should have or not come out to bat where he did was the captain himself. And this is for the second time now that I think Shreyas Iyer should not have promoted himself. He actually it wasn't quite a promotion because he batted where he usually does, but the situation did not necessarily demand him to be there. Today is the second occasion, is what I feel.
But I think, just to put it another way, I think today we crossed 100 in the 11th over. If this would have been the case that we have crossed 100 in 6th or 7th over, then maybe promoting a Rinku or a Russell would have made sense. Raghuvanshi, if we have
7.
if we have crossed, we were 95 for 6. If Russell and Salt were smashing them up top, and if we were crossed 6 in 7th over, or we were around 110 in 8th over, then that would have made sense sending a Russell to keep the momentum going. Today we rather have first we had a slow power play, then Naren kind of accelerated, but when Raghuvanshi got out, that was a slow start too. And
So
then,
exactly my point. Now you've
But-
not lost wicket. It's a slow start, not lost wicket. Optimize it. Bring your 2 big guns.
that's it. But with Russell,
If they
it's
get
always
out,
a risk.
You always have backup. You go with a Raghuvanshi, you go with a Shreyas Iyer, you go
But
with a Venkatesh
that
Iyer.
time Naren was already there. I think
Yeah,
one
yeah.
explosive
With
batter,
him,
one
with
and
him. Why send all your guns? Yeah.
I
No,
don't-
see, by contrast, if you're going by that point, yesterday I remember when SRH were batting against RCB, and I think they had lost 1 wicket, and they
Abhishek
said,
Sharma.
yeah, they
Klassen
lost
got
Abhishek, and Klassen came very early, and I was in full support of that decision because I'm like, yeah, sure, you have them under the pump, you may as well keep pumping. Why do you need to consolidate? You don't need to consolidate. And actually, KKR's problem, you know what? Even there, I think the problem was in the depth. The depth was where you ended up slowing down big time, but you could have compensated for that if you had some more runs in the middle overs where you did also slow down just a tad, because aside from a Narayan, no one else was really getting you quick fire runs. Ankush did it, got out, but aside from that, absolutely no one did. So you need to sometimes see, you can't be wedded to positions. It's not like, oh, if his name is there on the team sheet at 5, he has to be coming out at 5 come what, man.
that's true. But seeing Raghuvanshi's performance in the
Fair,
previous
then
matches, I
promote
think
him ahead of Shreyas.
Shreyas should demote himself, and Shreyas should send players up, not
Again, I just cannot recall which game was. I think it was the one prior to the previous one where again we had the same conversation, and again the same thing came out that Shreyas, the captain, he would also want to make a point.
CSK.
What Nikhil bhai said,
He'd also want to make a point.
Shreyas as the captain wants to back himself,
Back
and I can
himself as
also
well.
hit big runs, so that I will not demote myself. I will come on my usual position because but now in consecutive matches you're not performing, you're not firing, let's say. So I think that is
He
making
did the right kind of role last time, which was a 38, I think that he scored in your previous one against.
38 of 37.
There it didn't
Then-
come
because
at-
it was playing to the situation.
Collapse.
Today, the situation demanded that somebody who is naturally more aggressive goes ahead of you. That's where I think there was a little bit of,
Although, if you look at it, the scoring rate, see, when Salt fell 3.3, 85 runs were scored in 7.1 overs. Okay, that means you're scoring at a close to 200 strike rate. Okay, the team. Then when Shreyas fell, it was 27 in 2.2. Somewhere down the line, if you look at it, 51 in the next 3.1. So the scoring rate was somewhat fine. Where, supposing, why didn't they want to push a Rinku up? Maybe, okay, if I get all my guns at the top of the order, Perhaps there was a risk I might have fallen short.
No
even in the
problem.
death
You have
overs.
enough guns. You have enough guns.
Yeah, they
That's
have
my
enough
point. You have enough
But
guns.
again, what if the same situation had
No
persisted?
problem. Go all out. I'd rather go all out. I don't want to play if you have 9 batters. Remind you, 8 came out to bat and there was a Starc still in the hut. If you are packing your team with that many batters, I don't want to see consolidation.
And especially in a season like the one that we're having, when
Correct.
you know 2-7, 2-8, so you want to maximize.
Correct.
Because once you are bowling, it's pretty much things are out of your hand. I know the ball is in your hand and you can bowl better and you can do, but with what's happening now with the way the batters are playing, shorter boundaries, you know, extra batter that the team carries, all of that put together, you're like living on a prayer.
Also, because I think because of the rate at which they were scoring at, I think the KKR manager didn't need to make a change. Because until 16.1, you were doing great. Your death cost you.
Depth did cost you. I'm just saying, so you were doing great. But if you were, say, at instead of 184, you were at 200 with 16.1, which has happened now. We've seen it happen. Then imagine how much of this thing, and this is where I think in T20 cricket, it's not just about your skill set. Let's not pretend that a Mitchell Starc or any other big bowler doesn't have the ability to thrive in those situations. What is it that gets to them? Pressure. 184 versus 200, say 205. If you're at 205 with 16.1, boss, the bowler is going to lose his nerve with one hit. As opposed to here, where you gave the bowlers half a chance to get in a couple of good deliveries and put the pressure right back on you. Having said that, I still think, the bowling should have defended it. But the batting could have also maximized.
Okay, to the next point of discussion. In all of this, we've discussed the Rinku Singhs, the Raghuvanshis, Salt, Naren with 100, Buttler with 100. All of them, of course, the headline act. I think the one name that will go under the radar, but I think we should spend time discussing him, is the man who bowled 4 overs, giving away 35 runs, picking up 2 wickets with an economy of 8.50, where combined teams have scored 500 runs, and that is Avesh Khan. Was outstanding in the death as well. What a effort by someone like an Avesh Khan, and I know that even Bolt really stepped up, and that's why I compared Bolt where he's stepping up and a Starc isn't, and pay the big bucks. But why I'm talking about Avesh Khan is because for everything that's happening in the IPL, our focus is on the T20 World Cup. India right now are really looking for fast bowlers. Only one that you can write is Jasprit Bumrah. Mohammad Siraj's form isn't great. Mohammad Shami is not fit. So, there is Ashdeep that you will look at, various things. But there's an Avesh as well who's been part of the, and I'm not picking any name just randomly from outside on IPL, but because he had been part of the scheme of things, he was in and out of the team with injury and then sometime with form. So he's someone that the selectors are always looking out for. With the form that he's shown in the IPL so far, with 6 games down for his team, if I'm not mistaken, 6 games down. I can't remember, maybe a game or 2 where he did not have a great time, but majority of the games he's been outstanding. Is he alongside Bumrah a sure shot in your 3 or 4 fast bowlers that go for the T20 World Cup?
I had put him there as one of the third pacers. Already, because see, this was done much before the 2 games where he had bad runs against RCB and against GT, where he lost his line and length and was
But with the way IPL is going, I can't think of a single bowler who's had an outstanding time in
Exactly, because your Arshdeep Singh has not done well, and very sadly, his death bowling has lacked that.
I wonder why.
Time.
And that's actually the area where Avesh is excelling. Death bowling. This is the season that he had in 2021 where he was nailing Yorkers, and that's why he came as a death bowler and you started using him and then had a bit of a patchy time.
Because you look at the rest of your bowling lineup, it is presenting a very sorry picture. There is no Shami. That's a very big blow.
Siraj, you would have expected to step up, but
has gone back to pre-2022.
Not pre-2022, 2022.
He's not playing for his team right now.
Yeah.
Unlike Maxwell, he's not asked for a mental break.
That is a worry, and that's why Avesh, amongst the entire group, he's the best of the lot. In the 6 games that he's played, he's had 2 bad games.
He's your second best pacer right now.
Yep.
Because
After Bumrah,
from Bumrah, the rest of your bowling, ironically, is Gopal and Hare. Because Siraj is not firing, Shami is out injured. What do you do?
Isn't firing.
And Ashdeep also isn't firing.
And
what do you
where
do?
is the rest of the bowling lineup? There is none.
Exactly. You've not blooded any pacers beyond that. That was your thing. You didn't expect that a Siraj would follow
And you are also reliant on the fact that you are expecting and praying Hardik Pandya to bowl 4 overs if the composition is there. But now with Hardik Pandya's economy rate at 12, Power play 11, middle overs 10, death overs 26.
Forget about it.
Also, he's not bowling regularly.
And fitness concerns.
Now that is the reason why selectors have told if you want Hardik Pandya, you have to play as an all-rounder.
If those reports are to be believed, that they have said that he should be bowling in the IPL.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, with Avesh Khan, I'll still want to see a couple of more games of him performing.
Who's your other option? You give me. Who are your 3 fast bowlers? There may be 4, but give me 3. Jasprit Bumrah done. Give me 2.
I'll still, based on experience, as I want some games for
forget
Avesh,
you don't want
I'll
Avesh.
still.
Who are your 2 bowlers?
Siraj and Bumrah. I'll still give it.
Bumrah to is there 2 more, no? 3
As a Siraj, and I think Ashdeep ahead of an Avesh Khan.
Left-hand option.
I think Avesh has made a strong case. We've seen 7 games from him. He's single-handedly, again today also, standout bowler in that game against Delhi as well, bowled very good. And role-to-role comparison, he's performing the role much better than those in competition that he is in with. And Arshdeep, he's been wavered for quite some time now, Arshdeep, let's be honest about that. The other one in contention, and I still think regardless of his form falling off a cliff, of course being Mohammad Siraj, I think he retains his place. Right now, if I see somebody...
who are your top 3 fast bowlers?
Right now, as things stand, Jasprit Bumrah, Siraj remains number 2 for me.
Okay.
And I would like to see Avesh.
Yeah. Plus, you would want him in the non-strikers and he'll finish the game. The greatest non-finisher. 0 of 0.
Today as well.
Yeah,
Today as well.
Not wearing a helmet, just.
He luckily didn't have a helmet.
In this list, he is on number.
Sir, you are looking at wickets, no? This is a list of wickets. We are not looking. You are not paying attention to it. We are talking about death over bowling.
overs.
But I am also, to add, as I
Ashwin has been getting tonked in the
Yeah,
death.
but we are looking at death bowling, Baba.
no
Only death
wickets,
bowling,
not because of
Looking at
wickets.
Wicket-wise, so...
By that logic, Mohit Sharma is ahead of Avesh Khan. Mohit
so is
Sharma.
Khalil.
It's not like there's a massive gap.
Khalil.
It's a gap of 2 wickets.
Look at it's like saying
As if Ashdeep
who
is ahead,
more
but
impactful,
look at his economy.
Andre Russell or Phil Salt or maybe Shreyas Iyer. If Shreyas Iyer had scored more runs, will you take a Shreyas Iyer or Andre Russell? We are looking for the role of the player that we are putting in. You are showing us the wickets list.
No, and by that logic, then Virat Kohli has been the best opener in the IPL this year. He has got the most runs. It's okay.
Baba, in the death,
Baba.
Arshdeep.
We are only focusing on death overs. Only death, not middle
After
overs,
this,
not
you
power
give him a
play.
lesson of how to...
Guruji, please.
I'll do that.
Also, just want to, as I said, I want to see a couple of games for Avesh. Same with Siraj. Siraj might return. It's just the first half of the IPL.
Yeah,
he might return. And
No, I don't know who's the other option.
There isn't.
Bumrah, Avesh and Siraj. These are the only
just a
three.
question out
No,
there.
unless you go, but that will never happen. You never go to a Mohit or
Mohit,
whatever.
Mohit
right?
Sharma, Khalil Ahmed.
Khalil.
Or a Mayank Yadav. If
Or any
That was my question. A question out there to all of you. Do you see Mayank Yadav being fast track?
No chance.
Very difficult. Very difficult.
Yeah.
Please, no. No.
Okay, please. Mahal light. Acha, I was going to ask you to show us questions, but you have got something else for you. Okay. So Shivam now is hard at work. So he's got
he's
some.
hardly working.
He's got some.
He's a memer, full-time memer. He is.
What is this? Great innings by the.
Greatest finisher.
Siddharth.
Obviously,
Avesh
RR1.
Khan, non-striker and
In both 200 chases, by the way.
Wow. Rajasthan Royals put out a tweet. Avesh Khan always at the right side of finishing.
Rajasthan has tweeted, oh wow.
Yeah.
Very good.
I mean, 223, that's the magic.
Avesh Khan, 0 or not played a single ball.
The greatest finisher.
Okay, Sanju Samson, you are all alone in this impossible chase. Josh Buttler.
हो जाएगा.
Oh my goodness.
This is from that movie, na?
I don't know.
Super 30.
Super 30.
हाँ, Super 30. आनंद से. Take a bow.
I know. I am
Take
only
a bow,
talking
Josh
about
Buttler. मुझे मेरी पावर को मत भूल तू. मुझे याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं.
Don number 1.
Oh God, Nagarjuna.
हाँ,
Number 1.
हाँ.
Oh my God.
Feroz and
Oh yes.
Okay, when you know you have Sunil Narayan, you celebrate. When you realize you have mid Starc.
not performing. Big man, big bucks.
Yeah.
Not performing.
25 crore is trending on Twitter.
24.7.
Obviously it will
Chalo,
trend.
let's-
5 crore is 20.
Let's show that as well.
Everyone is praising Narayan and Buttler for their batting, but they forgot who.
You can always trust RCB to do that.
No matter
RCB
what, the trollers will go after RCB.
You know what RCB are? They are like the blood group O positive. Universal donor.
Exactly.
Also, meme fits here. RCB with "Mujhe क्यों तोड़ा?"
Ah,
The match was
that's
between
also
RR and KKR. Yet RCB in the conversation. And
Okay, quickly start taking questions.
good to see Siddharth back. We may disagree with you, but enjoy your
See,
analysis
Siddharth,
always.
thank you,
How
Vishal.
much
Tough
love?
luck, Shane. Is Buttler a new face
Now-
of taking the game
Now
deep?
don't be angry when the no you
Yeah,
get very
tough luck
angry.
indeed, Panchal.
No, I don't.
Vishal,
Is
sorry.
Buttler a new face of the taking the game deep?
Listen,
No, I mean with a
this is a
total
freakish
like
and a half
that-
innings.
No, but a total like that, you have no option but to take it deep. No, you can't finish it in 15.
And not just not just even you can finish it in 15, 16 overs if you have enough batting. He didn't have the batting. He finished it whilst marshalling bowlers.
Yeah.
So full credit there.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that this becomes such an outstanding.
And just FYI, do you know who are England's openers right now for the T20 World
Phil
Cup?
Short and Buttler.
And Josh Buttler.
Phil Short and
That's a bad omen.
Who are India's openers?
Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma
And
and
Shubman Gill.
Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Or Shubman Gill.
Or Shubman Gill.
No, but even Rohit and Virat can open.
They will not open. They should have opened in 2021. But Rakesh Bhushan Singh, Mr. said you were defending the undefendable Rohit inning the other day. When you open the inning and stay till last, you need to win it for the team. That's what great players do. They don't
Exactly
leave it
what
to
I
the
was saying.
apprentices.
Exactly what I'm saying. So you can't cherry pick. You
But
have to
I
have a
did.
consistency.
But I and Shane, we did add that it was for a lost cause. Isn't it? It was for a lost cause that
You were
happened.
defending.
Problem
You're saying
is
it's not the same.
the problem is people are happy by
See,
seeing
either you can say that don't blame batters, which is also fair, which is don't. But then in that case, you have to defend Virat and Rohit, both on a given day, right? Saying that, okay, what will the poor guys do alone? What are the rest of the guys doing? Which is a fair point.
Even today, by the way, the rest of the guys' second highest score is 34.
Yeah, by
Exactly.
Riyan Parag.
But that's what I'm saying. What a Josh Buttler is showing you that if you are the top dog, then that is what is expected out of you. I'm sorry. Top dogs have to do it all the time. You can't cherry pick that some top dogs are okay not doing it.
But that's the
some
difference. People
will
are
do it.
happy seeing a Virat and Rohit's 100. They're happy that my player had performed. It doesn't matter.
That is
Team
very
but
myopic then.
but
It is.
it's because the fans are happy.
Fans are always happy that their TN has done well.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, next one.
Boss Buttler chased 220 plus by anchoring for 16 overs against better bowlers. And that day, people were appreciating Rohit 100, where team scored 118 chase. That's Mr. Shanu
Valid
Kamal
point.
for
Valid
you.
point. Yep.
So that
Valid point. I mean, as I had said, if there are certain things, there are certain numbers that present you, you can't defend that. So,
Asha, okay. Next one.
Mr. Rakesh Bhushan needs a honest confession from you. We always say captain
From
is as
you,
good as team.
From Siddharth.
From you, Nikhil bhai. As good as a team. So GT a good captain when Hardik Pandya was skipper, or Mumbai a bad team when Hardik Pandya is skipper. Now or Hardik Pandya is a bad captain, regardless
See,
of how good
I
the team is.
always, I mean, for Gujarat Titans, I see Hardik Pandya was a good captain. I remember the 2 seasons that he was there. He did do some, sharp decisions. He stopped doing. He did all the right things. The confidence I saw of him from his body language and the way that he exuded that confidence and how it then, filtered through to the rest of the team. All of that was a model team. And of course, I will add to it, he was backed by a good support staff, a good, behind the scenes team of an Ashish Nehra. And I think Ashish Nehra, why I think he's a sharp brain, not only with GT. Now that they lost so many of their players, they're still punching above their weight, I think, based on the squad that they have. But wasn't Ashish Nehra with RCB when they made the finals also?
in
2016.
2016, that I,
I
have
think
to
he
check.
was.
I have to check.
I think he was. So if he could have taken that team to the finals also, that itself is a massive.
that's
He
a
was with
miracle.
RCB. I think it was 17, 16, whichever year. But if
See,
my memory
because
serves
he
me
played for CSK until 14-15, and then after that he went into coaching. I think it was RCB. I have to check.
may have been playoffs or whatever. So generally he's been good. The thing with Hardik, and I think we've discussed this a lot, it's not that he's become a bad captain. I think he is not concentrating at the job at hand because he's distracted by so many other things. So he's more worried about his image. He's more worried about his, the crowd booing him, how he's coming across as a captain, how hugs are happening, how he's the best brand ambassador, how he's an idol player who's talking and praising the opposition in Dhoni, everything. All of that is consuming him. He needs to shed that weight. He should be in that situation. Okay, if I'm the bad guy, I am the bad guy. But my job which I've been put here is to win games. By whichever way, I have to win the games. The crowd's love and attention will follow automatically. For now, he needs to shut that thing. That's not happening. But he also, I don't think he's become a bad captain.
Yeah.
I think
Ashish Nehra was 2018, right? No miracle there.
no way.
Yeah.
That
With
would have been
RCB,
a
they
miracle.
won.
What did they do in 2018?
They finished 85th, I think. They finished 5th in 2018. They didn't make it to the playoffs. 17 wooden spoon, 18 that was 5th or 6th, 19 wooden spoon.
Wooden spoon.
Whenever Chinnaswamy's been involved, you remember the last 3 years why they made it to the playoffs? No Chinnaswamy was involved.
Correct.
Their home ground is the problem.
Okay, I'm going to, you're going to take all the questions. I'm going to disappear. So I'll take the one that is addressed to me.
Yeah.
And then you can take the.
Why we?
Why we is back after a long time.
Yeah.
He says, Nikhilji, please stop defending VK and Hitman. They are playing from 2016. If they were good, we would have at least won once. It's time to let them go. But I was the one who was
All of us.
criticizing.
Who's-
No, you were defending Hitman.
No,
not
for
that.
the
young
T20 World
Acha.
Cup.
That.
No. That I had. Acha, you're talking about that. I thought he's talking about
Well,
that.
let them
now.
go.
Who's defended them is my real question.
We were all
guys-
the same.
No,
They
for
defended
India, for
Hitman.
India.
No, so I thought he's talking about the knock.
No, not the knock.
But if you're talking about the India thing, to which I had said, see, listen, go to our shows. Yes, these guys have been consistent. I had said before they had come for the Afghanistan series, when Hardik Pandya was captaining and they were going, at that time I had said that, listen, the best thing for India is now start on a fresh slate, clean slate. Start now, 2 T20 World Cups you've tried, it's not worked. Now go on with a young captain, go. And I thought that they were going and was consistent with it. As soon as you got the seniors back for the Afghanistan series, it was a clear indication from the team management that now, we still want to go with tried and tested. We still want to go with our biggest names. Okay. And I said, once they have done it, now once they've already told us that this is going to happen, it doesn't matter what I say or whatever, we can have our opinion. And that's why I said, now it's decided, now no point going back into whether they should be, should not be. Now I know that they are going to be there.
So might
Now
as well back
the
them.
Yeah, now I'm saying back them and assess them and judge them. Because now I know they're going to be there. That is why I'm judging them every day after the innings. No, that's why we sit and discuss. Because now I'm not saying whether they'll be there or not. I know they're going to be there. All I'm discussing here is, are they playing the right way? Are they having the right approach? Are they having the right intent? Because my thought is the best interest of the Indian team in mind. And now how can that be maximized? That's what I'm trying to say. It's like I'm going for a race and I wanted a certain car. I have not been given. And my engineers have given me the other car. Now I can't crib about what car I've been given. Now I will say, when you've given me, what can I do with it now? How do I ensure that I give my best with that? And for that I will give them feedback. That boss, this ka ye thoda theek kar do, iska suspension thoda aur hard kar do. Maybe for me, that way I'll be able to do it. Maybe, give me some more power. I know the engine will heat up, but I will find a way how to nurse it a little later, whatever, to my liking. I'm going to. So that's why we are scrutinizing their knocks every day. That's why I've said that.
Yeah.
But my colleagues have been still, very vocal, and that's fine. That's their right. But they've said, no, boss, I don't want them. And that's their opinion.
Mahesh says, let's not even go to this thing. Poor quality of Indian fast bowlers leads to inflated scores.
Please come here. sir.
It has nullified the quality of batsmanship. Nobody's talking about economy rates, only strike rates.
Exactly. That's the situation. Now, Divyank, as Joss was reaching 100, I knew comparison will start with RS and VK's 100.
Scroll down.
But to be fair, he has two good innings in RP and RP with great SR. RP and
Rishabh Pant with a
and
good strike rate, but abuses started on
SM.
Social media.
Social media. But who RP and RP? Who's the other RP?
Come on, yeah, you guys don't know what SM is. Even I know that.
No, I knew.
I knew it.
I told him.
But there are two RPs.
Two good innings, RP and RP with great SR.
Rishabh Pant. Okay. Robman Powell. Yes. RP. Yes, Robman
And Ryan Parag.
Or Rian Parag. Yes.
Yeah, that's the two
That's
RPs.
the one. Yep,
Robin Powell and Ryan Parag.
Yes.
Weber says 996, close to 1,000 runs scored in the previous two games. Just imagine a situation where the curators and all the bowlers are locked in a room. It takes me back to Sachin Tendulkar's tweet yesterday where he asked, who'd want to be a bowler?
Exactly.
And someone rather ironically replied, yourself.
By the way, Nikhil bhai did a detailed report on this game going in the batsman's favor more, what changes are needed. It's up on Sports Today. You should watch that analysis and see what's there for the batsmen and for the bowlers.
Yeah. Rakesh Bhushan says, absurd to say that players with high price tags have to perform well. Players don't ask for that price, it's owners who overprice them. Certain goods bought at a higher rate are not better than branded goods bought at a lesser rate. Rakesh, fair point. I'm just saying, as fans though, you'll always have that expectation. If you're a big name player, and it's not like you're a big name young player, then I still understand. You're Mitchell Starc, you're one of the best bowlers in the world. I expect you to be doing better than you are. I'm not saying you need to be Jasprit Bumrah, but at least do better than what you are right now. That will be a start because you do have a good bowling lineup which is being held back.
Yeah.
Saurav Mukherjee.
You aren't expecting all 6 balls to be Yorkers.
No,
What you
no,
are
no.
expecting with that price tag, the reputation, the experience, everything, is that at least 3 of those to be Yorkers. And why do you want to just because?
But it's wicket taking balls, so they're not even Yorkers.
Because you don't want to be conceding the kind of runs or the amount of runs that the others are conceding. What is now the differential between you? Forget the price tag again. The experience, reputation, skill set, all of that you bring to the table. That you don't look like somebody who's got no caps. You're somebody who's got hundreds of caps.
You're two-time world champion. You're a Mitchell Starc. You've been experienced. You have got a price. You have only got that big much of a price tag because of you're a Mitchell Starc.
Yes.
You're not an ordinary bowler. As a fan, as a KKR fan, I would want you to perform straight away.
Yeah, 7 matches, 5 wickets
Is
is
underwhelming.
underwhelming. What
See,
a
I-
150 plus runs in only 3 matches combined.
Saurav Mukherjee says people are upset because of a headbutt given to our beloved legends one day apart. Defending in the name of populism, seeing how cricket should be played. Saurav, a very cryptic message here.
very cryptic.
Pranit Datta says, on form it should be Arshdeep and Avesh. What form has Siraj shown? I know Arshdeep has not been perfect, but he has done decently, not as bad as Siraj. Good point.
You have answered your question, by the way. As much as the first half is bad for Siraj and good for Avesh, I'm not saying it will be bad for Avesh, but Siraj might turn back. Siraj might return with good performances.
Fahim says Rinku should come ahead of fraud baseball hitter. I don't know who he's talking about.
He's talking, I think, about Russell.
Fraud baseball hitter Russell.
I think.
A multiple time match level winner. Fahim, respect. Respect, my friend, respect. Let him play 20 balls, Rinku that is. He'll contribute more. Don't typecast him as a finisher. He's only more than that. I agree with this, but my point is then by that logic, Ramandeep also bats middle order in his franchise for his domestic team. All of these guys then should want to be batting in the middle order. Then what role are you going to be playing?
But I think he's only auditioning for the role of finisher in the Indian cricket team. He has been a finisher from past 2 seasons for KKR.
Correct.
That's what he will perform there. What if you promote him to a number 3 or 4, he didn't perform? You will say he's a flop player. Flop player. He was just by luck he was playing. Throw him out and everything.
He's your number 5 or number 6 in this.
Exactly.
If he plays for India in a World Cup or whatever, he will play 6 or 7.
And not even 5, 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Karthik K says Pat Cummins post-game speech is lit. Pat
Smiling
Cummins.
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Smiling assassin.
Smiling assassin.
There he is.
Man, I'll tell you, Karthik K, if by a miracle he
Don't
helps,
say that, Siddharth. I know.
if he helps SRH win the title, build that man a statue.
And more.
If I'm not wrong, Pat Cummins said yesterday toss said that 240 is a part score.
Yes.
And people,
Yes.
240 is a part score.
He saw the pitch and looked at
And people were making fun of him. So post-match, there were a couple of tweets when he said, you are making fun of the Pat Cummins, but don't forget he is a world champion. Also, he has won a World Cup recently. He has read the pitch more accurately than anybody else around him.
One RCB fan just said 240. How can he say this? It's all
People were calling him arrogant and everything. He said he's arrogant speaking 240 part score, but now he was right.
I think
After 3 hours,
19 November.
don't say that date. Don't say that date.
Okay, the one day in the year 2023 which did exist for everyone but Indians. On that day, the Australians showed the world how good they are at pitch reading.
And you know what that RCB fan gave at that return tweet? I deserve all the trolling today.
True, I read that tweet. Yeah, please troll. Yeah, I deserve all the trolling.
I deserve all the trolling.
Balu says that number 18, that is Virat Kohli, will have to wait 18 years to win the IPL trophy. RCB 2025.
Wrong. RCB 2,358. Tribute to Gale, 333. You're not winning 70, you're not winning 18.
Vijay from the USA says, come on, every batsman has a strike rate which clearly tells explosive batting capability. Putting Rohit Sharma and Josh Buttler in the same bracket is lame. Josh Buttler is a notch higher than striking, but a notch higher here or there is nitpicking.
It's not lame.
Although
Both
I
are
will say
openers.
that right now, Josh Butler has more match-winning knocks with bat than Rohit.
In the
Really?
IPL.
In the IPL, see, actually in the
Even
IPL,
in
if you-
T20I cricket, I would argue.
Oh, see, he's got more hundreds, Rohit,
Yeah, but-
than a Butler. And if you look at it,
Impact. I'm not looking at 100.
yeah, I mean, in the
Again,
last
at the
10
end of-
years, definitely.
Yeah,
Butler's
at the end of the day, if your team wins, you win. If it loses, but I think both of them should have been put in the same basket because they both are openers playing for their respective
Yes.
countries.
Correct.
They should be
10
compared
years,
in every.
Butler's impact is here.
Exactly. As a pure batter.
Pure
As
batter.
a pure
White ball, he's
Yeah,
next
yeah.
level, Josh Butler.
Correct.
So,
That's it then, I think.
I
It's
think
the end
that
of a
is
very
it.
long night.
Yep, it has been a very long night for you guys.
I will go home and maybe knock back a couple of,
Yeah,
cokes.
yeah.
Cokes, yeah. Much needed, I think.
Yeah.
Understood.
Much
This
needed.
game should
Well
have been
deserved
won.
as
This
well.
I'll say in the end, this game should have been won.
You've endured what's been a tough game.
Yeah.
But see, I'll still take it.
It's just the second
You take
loss. You remain where you were at the start of the
Yeah.
match in terms of points.
Still 3 more
table.
games to be played at home.
Yeah, and
One of them is DC.
One's DC, one's RCB.
Oh,
So you do
RCB
have
is on 21st on
Sunday.
Sunday.
with the
I think KKR, RCB are playing with the green jersey, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Maybe.
Interesting. Either which way, we will, join you tomorrow. Tomorrow's also
Gujarat
versus Delhi.
Yes.
Match
Yes.
indeed.
Number 6 versus number 8 or 9?
9.
9, yeah.
I'm with you tomorrow.
Yes.
I'll support Delhi tomorrow.
At the Narendra Modi Stadium.
Oh, biggest stadium in the world.
Yes. So let's.
We'll see you tomorrow then. For now, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
And we're equally upset with the fact that KKR lost because
We couldn't see Shane's
we
dance.
could not see Shane dance, so we
Maybe next
understand the
time.
disappointment
Damn
that some
you,
of
Ara.
you have alluded to in the comments.
Maybe next time. Eh? So we'll see you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll take your leave. So,
Yeah.
what is it? Please go ahead.
Nandri, Shabbakar, Vanakkam, Sat Sri Akal,
Namaste.
Shubhratri.
Bye-bye.
Namaste. Don't trouble your mother and eat all your vegetables. And by the way, happy Ram Navami.
Happy Ram Navami.
Bye bye.